各位记者朋友，大家下午好。
Good afternoon. Welcome to the press conference. Now questions, please.
谢发言人，总台央视记者提问：昨天金砖国家领导。
CCTV, the 15th BRICS summit was held yesterday. President Xi Jinping attended the summit and delivered an important speech. Can you give us more details? On August 23 local time, the 15th BRICS summit was held in Johannesburg. President Xi Jinping attended the meeting and delivered an important speech entitled Seeking Development Through Solidarity and Cooperation and Shouldering Our Responsibility for Peace. President Xi pointed out that BRICS is an important force in shaping the international landscape. We choose our development path independently, jointly defend our rights to development, and march in tandem toward modernization. This represents the direction of human society and will impact the development of the world. The BRICS cooperation is at a crucial time to build on our past achievements and open up a new future, navigating the trend of our times and responding to the aspiration of people around the world. President Xi Jinping made 4 proposals on BRICS cooperation, charting the course for the sound and in-depth development of BRICS cooperation. We should deepen business and financial cooperation to boost economic growth. BRICS countries should be fellow companions on the journey of development and revitalization and oppose decoupling and supply chains disruption, as well as economic coercion. We should expand political and security cooperation to uphold peace and tranquility. BRICS countries should keep to the direction of peaceful development, support each other on issues concerning core interests, and enhance coordination on major international and regional issues. We should increase people-to-people exchanges, promote mutual learning between civilizations, and advocate peaceful coexistence between civilizations. We should promote respect of all countries in independently choosing their modernization path. We should uphold fairness and justice and improve global governance. BRICS countries should practice true multilateralism, uphold the UN-centered international system, support and strengthen the WTO-centered multilateral trading system, and reject the attempts to create small circles or exclusive blocs. Push forward reform of the international financial and monetary systems and increase the representation and voice of developing countries. President Xi announced that China will set up a China BRICS Science and Innovation Incubation Park for the new era, explore the establishment of a BRICS Global Remote Sensing Satellites Data and Application Cooperation Platform under the BRICS Remote Sensing Satellites Constellation Mechanism, and jointly establish a BRICS framework on industrial cooperation for sustainable development. President Xi stressed that we need to act on the BRICS spirit of openness, inclusiveness, and win-win cooperation to bring more countries into the BRICS family so as to pool our wisdom and strength to make global governance more just and equitable. President Xi Jinping's important speech was warmly echoed by the international community. Many in the world said that the speech drew a blueprint for strengthening unity and coordination among BRICS countries, charted the direction of building a high-quality BRICS partnership, and injected more certainty, stability, and positive energy for the world. They expect China to continue to play a leading role and promote BRICS countries to jointly respond to challenges and seek peace and development.
Focusing on the summit's theme, BRICS and Africa Partnership for Mutually Accelerated Growth, Sustainable Development, and Inclusive Multilateralism, leaders of the 5 BRICS countries had in-depth exchange of views and reached extensive common understandings on BRICS cooperation and major international issues of shared interest. Parties agreed that BRICS need to strengthen solidarity, continue to embrace the spirit of openness, inclusiveness, and win-win cooperation, speed up BRICS expansion, make the global governance system more inclusive, fairer, and more equitable, and promote multipolarity in the world. BRICS need to support each other on issues concerning each other's core interests and respect countries' independently chosen development path suited to their national realities. BRICS need to help speed up reform in the international financial and monetary system, increase the representation and say of emerging markets and developing countries, and advance sustainable development and promote inclusive growth. China will continue to work with BRICS partners, work towards the vision of a community with a shared future for humanity, strengthen strategic partnerships, and deepen cooperation in various fields. China will work with BRICS partners to step up to our responsibility by meeting common challenges, creating a better future, and achieving modernity together. Next one, please.
Thank you. I had a question about China's announcement today that it would halt the import of all Japanese fish to protect the lives and health of Chinese people. We want to know what the scientific reason for the ban is. If China is concerned that the release of wastewater from Fukushima will contaminate all the waters surrounding the Japanese archipelago, then wouldn't it also endanger the waters around the Korean Peninsula and Russia? Is China considering banning seafood imports from those countries as well? Thank you.
彭博社关于中国今天宣布停止从日本进口水产品，是为了保护中国公民的安全和健康。想请问这一决定的科学依据是什么？中方是不是担心这个福岛释放的核污水会污染到周边的海洋的环境，包括日本群岛附近？另外，关于在朝鲜半岛还有俄罗斯附近的海域是否也会受到污染？中方是否也计划禁止进口从那里的生产的海产品？
海关总署今天已经发布了关于全面暂停。
The General Administration of Customs of China has put up a notice, which you may refer to, on August 24th. In disregard of the strong criticism and opposition from the international community, the Japanese government unilaterally started the release of the Fukushima nuclear contaminated water into the ocean. China firmly opposes and strongly condemns it. We have made a serious démarche to Japan and asked it to stop this wrongdoing. The disposal of the Fukushima nuclear contaminated water is a major issue about nuclear safety. Its impact goes beyond Japan's borders, and the issue is by no means a private matter for Japan. Since humanity began using nuclear energy for peaceful purposes, there has been neither any precedent nor universally recognized standards for discharging nuclear contaminated water into the ocean. The Fukushima nuclear accident was a major catastrophe that already caused a leakage of large amounts of radioactive substances into the ocean. There could be a man-made secondary disaster to the local people and the whole world if Japan chooses to dump the water just to serve its selfish interests. The Japanese government failed to prove the legitimacy and legality of the decision, the long-term reliability of the purification facility, and the authenticity and accuracy of the nuclear contaminated water data. It failed to prove that the discharge is safe and harmless to the marine environment and people's health, and that the monitoring plan is sound and effective. Japan also failed to have thorough consultations with other stakeholders. The ocean belongs to all humanity. To forcibly start the ocean discharge is an extremely selfish and irresponsible act in disregard of the global public interests. By dumping the water, Japan is spreading the risks to the rest of the world and passing an open wound onto the future generations of humanity. Japan has turned itself into a saboteur of the ecological system and polluter of the global marine environment. It is infringing upon people's rights to health, development, and a healthy environment, which violates Japan's moral responsibilities and obligations under international law. From the moment Japan started the discharge, it has put itself in the dock in front of the international community and is bound to face international condemnation for many years to come. The Chinese government always puts our people's well-being first and will take all measures necessary to safeguard food safety and the health of our people.
下一个问题。
Next question, please.
Prensa Latina News Agency. The presidents of China and Cuba held a meeting at the BRICS summit. Cuba holds the presidency of the G77 plus China. What comments do you have about this meeting?
巴东 社提问：中国跟古巴的主席在金砖峰会期间举行会晤，古巴目前是。
下午。
On the afternoon of August 23, President Xi Jinping met with Cuban President on the sidelines of the BRICS leaders meeting in Johannesburg. President Xi recalled that President Diaz-Canel paid a successful state visit to China last November when they reached a broad consensus on further deepening China-Cuba ties in the new era and agreed to work together to build a China-Cuba community with a shared future. With the joint efforts of both sides, the consensus is being effectively implemented. China is ready to work with Cuba to continue deepening political mutual trust, expanding cooperation, strengthening strategic coordination, and advancing the special friendly relations between the two parties and the two countries. China highly appreciates Cuba's steadfast support for China on issues concerning our core interests. China will continue to firmly support the Cuban people in their just struggle to defend their sovereignty and oppose external interference and blockade. China will do its best to provide support for the economic and social development of Cuba. President Xi stressed that the G77 and China is an important platform for cooperation among developing countries. Cuba, as the current chair of the G77 and China, has made positive contribution to strengthening unity of developing countries. China highly values and supports Cuba in successfully holding the G77 and China summit. China stands ready to work with Cuba and other members to better safeguard the common interests and development rights of developing countries. President Diaz-Canel said the current Cuba-China relations are at the highest level in history, adding that the Cuban people admire President Xi and thank China for the understanding and invaluable support for Cuba's just cause. Cuba firmly supports the Global Development Initiative, the Global Security Initiative, and the Global Civilization Initiative. Cuba is ready to work with China to deepen BRI cooperation, build a Cuba-China community with a shared future, and march ahead together on the path of building socialism with our respective characteristics. Cuba is ready to work closely with China to ensure the success of the G77 and China summit. The success of the meeting between the two presidents is a source of strong impetus for China-Cuba relations.
下一个问题。
Next one, please.
谢谢发言人。路透社提问：今天中国海关。
Reuters today, China's customs authorities announced stop importing aquatic products from Japan. Can you clarify what categories of products will be affected, including seafood? What else will be impacted?
你提到的问题啊，刚才我。
I just answered a similar question. The GACC has put up a notice which you may refer to. You may also ask competent authorities for your specific question. Next question, please.
谢谢发言人。中新社记者提问是关于非洲的。那么据报道，今年前7个月，中非贸
China News Service. According to the latest data, China's trade with Africa in the first 7 months of this year hit 1.14 trillion RMB yuan. What is your comments on the prospects of China-Africa relations and economic cooperation? We noted the reports. Since President Xi Jinping put forth the principles of sincerity, real results, amity, and good faith, China-Africa relations have entered a fast track. Over the past decade, under the strategic guidance of leaders, China and Africa have deepened cooperation on the platform of the BRI and FOCAC, achieved solid progress in building the China-Africa community with a shared future in the new era, and delivered benefits for the people in China and Africa. China-Africa business cooperation and win-win economic relations has provided strong support for the steady and sound development of China-Africa relations. Strengthening solidarity and cooperation with African countries will always be an important cornerstone of China's foreign policies and a firm strategic choice of China. On the sidelines of the BRICS Leaders Summit, President Xi Jinping will co-chair the China-Africa Leaders Dialogue with President Ramaphosa, which will be the first time time that the heads of states of China and Africa meet collectively face-to-face since the pandemic. The meeting will draw up a new blueprint and lend strong impetus to the growth of the China-Africa Comprehensive Strategic Partnership. Guided and driven by the head of state diplomacy, the building of a China-Africa community with a shared future in the new era will see new historic achievements, making greater contribution to the modernization and prosperity of humankind. Next question, please.
Yonhap, according to reports today, the DPRK launched a space projectile. The US, the RK, and some other countries accused the DPRK of violating UN Security Council resolutions. What's China's position? We have noted the information released by the DPRK and the response from other quarters. Parties need to fully recognize that continued dialogue in the Korean Peninsula situation doesn't serve any party's fundamental interests. Only by sticking to political settlement and meaningful dialogue to resolve each side's concerns in a balanced way can there be lasting peace and security on the peninsula. Next one, please. Global Times. The U.S. Defense Security Cooperation Agency reportedly said that the U.S. State Department has approved the possible $500 million sale to Taiwan of infrared search and track systems for F-16 fighter jets and other equipment. What's your comment? U.S. arms sales to China's Taiwan region seriously violate the One China principle and the stipulations of 3 China-U.S. joint communiques, especially the August 17th communique. Such sales seriously violate international law, basic norms governing international relations, undermine China's sovereignty and security interests, harm peace and stability across the Taiwan Strait, and send gravely wrong signals to Taiwan independent separatist forces. China deplores and firmly opposes them. Taiwan is an inalienable part of China's territory. The Taiwan question is purely China's internal affair that brooks no foreign interference. We urge the U.S. to earnestly abide by the One China principle and the 3 China-U.S. joint communiques, immediately cancel the planned arms sales to Taiwan, stop arms sales to and military contact with Taiwan, stop following a dangerous trajectory of arming Taiwan, and stop undermining peace and stability across the Taiwan Strait. We will take resolute, strong measures to safeguard our sovereignty and territorial integrity. Next, please.
Thank you. I just wanted to follow up on my earlier question. If, as you say, Japan is spreading the risk beyond its borders into international borders, why is it only Japan that's being targeted for the ban of fish imports? Thank you.
彭博社追问刚才的问题，如果果真如你所说，日本释放核污水是在把风险转嫁给全世界，那么为什么中国的水产品的停止进口只针对日本？
刚才我已经清楚地阐明。
I shared China's position just now. On your question, I would like to stress that Japan's pushing for the discharge of nuclear contaminated water and shifting the risk of nuclear contamination to the rest of the world is extremely selfish and wrong. All stakeholders have the right and responsibility to take all measures necessary to protect the marine environment, food safety, and public health. Next question, please.
Reuters, in Russia, a plane crashed. According to reports, founder of the Wagner Group died in the crash. I wonder if the Chinese Foreign Ministry have any comment.
China noted the reports. Next question, please.
谢谢。日本朝日電視台。
Asahi TV, the Japanese government has said that the treated nuclear water is okay, and other international organizations have also green-lighted the plan. And there are also other voices supporting this. So why is it that China opposes this?
Over the past 2 years, the safety, legality, and legitimacy of the discharge has been questioned widely. Japan has not yet responded to concerns about
iterations and meetings being prepared by our Sherpas and ministers.
Stakeholders have pointed out many times that Japan needn't discharge the water into the ocean if it's safe, and certainly shouldn't if it isn't. It is unlegitimate, unjustified, and unnecessary for Japan to discharge the water into the ocean, and it is extremely selfish and irresponsible of Japan's action. Not only China has opposed Japan's decision, many people in Japan have expressed their strong opposition to Japanese government and questioned the Japanese government's decision. This fully shows the nature of this decision. Next question, please.
From AFP, Myanmar authorities say they have extradited 2 men to China who were suspected of involvement in online scams. Do you have any details on this case? Thank you.
法新社缅甸官方表示，他们向中方引渡了2名涉嫌参与线上诈骗的嫌犯，请问可否介绍更多情况？
我注意到你提到的。
Relevant authorities have shared information on the question you asked, which you may refer to. Next question, please.
Thank you. Will China be talking to the Japanese government to try and test the seafood caught around the waters off of Fukushima itself to see if it's safe? Thank you.
中方是否计划跟日本政府直接对话，来就福岛周围的水产品进行检测？
我们敦促日方。
We urge Japan to immediately cancel the wrongdoing, the wrong decision, and out of consideration for human health and marine environment, handle the water in a responsible manner. Next question, please.
还有其他的问题吗？
Any more questions? That's all for today. Thank you for coming.